So if you watched my first video, you may be saying, hey, you said your next video was going to be about sci-fi in the 90s. Well, first, that's a very rude thing to say. Second, you're right, I did say that. This is what I'm calling a supplemental talk, something I think is important in the history of sci-fi, but not important enough to derail an already overlong video. Seriously, that launch of the Sci Fi Channel vid could have been way longer. My Sci Fi Channel in the 90s video will show up sometime in the not too distant future. Till then, enjoy some useless trivia and a bit of nostalgia tripping as I give you a quick history of FTL Newsfeed. But first up, if you like this video and want to see more of them, well, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe buttons.
Welcome to Comlink Satellite Service. You have selected Faster Than Light Newsfeed for today.
You may remember from my last video that FTL Newsfeed was the first show broadcast on the newly debuted Sci Fi Channel, but you may not know what FTL Newsfeed actually was or what made it so notable. FTL Newsfeed was a daily 30-second interstitial program that ran from 1992 to 1996, with new episodes airing Monday through Fridays and repeats running on the weekends. The creation of science fiction authors F. Paul Wilson and Matt Costello, FTL was a fake news show back when that kind of thing was actually fun. FTL Newsfeed was commissioned by USA Network executive Brad Siegel in August 1992, just a month before the Sci Fi Channel's launch. He first approached F. Paul Wilson about writing the show by himself. Wilson initially declined the offer, thinking it would be too much work to handle on his own, so he suggested Matt Costello. Matt called me back and asked if I was sure I didn't want it. I reconsidered and said, why don't we split the work? We worked our butts off. Meetings, conference calls, faxing, modeming, and finally emailing files back and forth. This was cutting edge in 1992. Its setting is the year 2142, with most of the Earth run by economic combines, supranational states that span entire continents. The combine most frequently featured on the show is the North American Union, or the NAU. A political union between the United States and Canada, its president is Madeleine Clark, a post-fusion dance combination of Hillary Clinton and Margaret Thatcher. And when it has to be one of the shrewdest casting choices in history, she's played by then real-life USA Network President Kay Koplovitz, with actor Joseph McKenna portraying the disembodied, possibly artificial news anchor. The show also featured cameos from other USA Network hosts, Gilbert Gottfried and Rhonda Shear. FTL was unique in that it used fairly long-form storylines that would unfold more and more each day, and taking years to complete. These storylines included President Clark being replaced by a clone double, Senbank's AI becoming self-aware, the discovery of aliens on board asteroid Rilo 7, and mankind sending a manned mission to Europa. The show itself mostly tackled these stories in a fairly melodramatic, if not outright campy way, the exception being the first 6 months or so of the show when things were a bit more grounded.
It's been 24 hours since the signal from Mars went dead. Still no word.
But the change is swift and best seen in the change in wardrobe and performance of Kay Koplovitz as President Clark.
Whatever it takes, Habitat Mars will be rebuilt and continue under the sole authority of the NAU. The clone soldiers and DNA adaptees holding Moonbase Wilson must lay down their arms and release the neutron bomb immediately. Otherwise, I'll have no choice but to order the Marines aboard Space Shuttle Costello to attack the colony in full force.
The show was surreal in a way. Serious, sinister storylines, peopled with goofy characters. I remember executives coming up and saying, "Is this really sci-fi?" We'd nod sagely, "Absolutely." They'd walk away scratching their heads. But in the fall of 1996, the show was cancelled, the cast and crew being given the word that their current taping would be the last, the final episode airing in December and ending on a cliffhanger. Because of course it did. With the budget of the show going towards Sci-Fi's new slate of original programs, it wasn't a total loss. Don't get me wrong, I like FTL, but I wouldn't pick it over Farscape. Altogether, 1,106 episodes of the show were produced over the span of 4 years. And if you want to see the whole thing, well, good luck. FTL was never released on home video and has never been rerun. A few generous souls have uploaded episodes to YouTube, but altogether it's only about 50% of the show's run, with some episodes being of less than stellar quality. F. Paul Wilson has said that he has copies of the show's complete run, as presumably does Syfy. But those tapes have shelf lives, and I doubt digitizing them is a priority for Syfy. So their fate is uncertain, but there's always a chance that someone with OCD far stronger than my own will manage to compile the entire run and post them online. So if you have some time to kill and need a fun, bite-sized nostalgia fix, after this, how about checking out some FTL Newsfeed?